I don't mind if you keep that face on, as long as you let me kick it around a bit.
Medicine! The newly faced flaunting robot nods slightly, pleased with the renewed consensus. You should have been pleased about that, but I guess she doesn't have that feeling of being offended that we humans have. She doesn't have an ego, she has a code. Part 4. Secession Building. Must a fork always be paired with a cake? Must art always adhere to tradition? Oh, it's so pretty.
So this is the Vienna branch? It's splendid. Look at the walls, simple yet elegant. It's like a temple of modern art.
Yeah, somehow it's as plain as modern art, but has that little detail of more extravagant. Like my eyes are fixed on the ball right now. It's so pretty, the ball, the part that holds the ball as well. What's underneath is quite plain for my taste, but it's, yeah.
I can read the contrast between different shapes and textures. This Mr. Ulrich must have put so much effort into the design. It must be a very pleasant place to work at, Mr. Call.
Oh, no. This is a secession building. Another meeting place for the young artists to show off, other than the cafes. They said they wanted to break away from traditional art. Well, it's more like they're breaking away from human life. There's nothing to like here. Only inexplicable paintings and neurasthenic lunatics. But people keep coming back. There are even secession groups to the secession. Like cells dividing through mitosis. The entrance to our venerable branch is on the left. Please follow me.
A massive golem stands at the door, towering over the approaching trio.
Notice the guard? It's the most loyal and reliable knight of Vienna, powered entirely by arcane ritual. The greatest achievement since the revival of Arcanum in Europe.
And yet you still talk about Arcanus like they're rats. Idiot. How can you be proud of their achievements when you talk like that?
In 1662, a royal magician from London offered it to the emperor at the time. Since then, it's guarded the empire for centuries.
Ah, sir!
A figure emerges from within the shadow of the golem.
Greetings, dear Sascapia. How's your son Tamino? I hear he's not getting along well with his fiancée.
He's a strange one. What's he doing standing in the corner like that?
My apologies, Miss Hoffman. Please hold on. Terrific, Heinrich! Just as terrific as your pathetic art career!
That's great! Best wishes to you, Sascapia. Oh, my apologies.
He stands in the distance, giving a nod towards Hoffman and Marcus.
Greetings to you, Angelotti. And unknown lady.
The gentleman turns and moves briskly into the temple-like edifice, as peculiar in his exit as he was in his entrance.
See, he is one of those crazy artists. Everyone knows that I only have this beautiful daughter of mine. This mustacheless gentleman went to study in Berlin and has just returned. I guess he didn't learn much in class, and now he's throwing himself into opera. He must have listened to Wagner and Mozart so much it damaged his central nervous system. That's why he sees everyone as a character in an opera. Operas and music, they do harm to your eyes and fill your ears with useless sounds.
This patch is packed with assholes.
Is every artist like this?
No, dear.
Scarpia, Angelotti. They are indeed characters from the opera Tosca.
Good to know.
Oops, I am getting off topic.
Carl's cane raps on the stone creature in front of him.
Don't worry. We've modified its original ritual to meet the needs here. Lots of people come in and out after all. You just need to knock on the armor 3 times, touch a mustache, and it will let you in.
So if you don't have a mustache, what do you do?
Ha! I forgot you have no mustaches, my dear ladies. But you do have arcane skills, right?
First of all, I am not an arcanist. Second, I am not as humorous as you think.
Fine, but that was no joke, as this thing only accepts mustaches. It's a symbol that every gentleman should have. And not everyone's like Heinrich.
So not only are you racist in this place, you're also sexist. Good to know. Keep going. The absurdity seems to have finally broken the senior investigator's patience. Beat his ass.
Just give me the list of arcanists we mentioned in the letter, Mr. Carl. We don't need to go into the branch.
Oh no, do you really want to miss the scenery of the Donau? And the sight of the modern transport system? There's no better way to tour the ring roads than by carriage. And we've booked a room for you at the Zaka Hotel.
Is that man slow? Like, you just told her that unless you're an arcanist woman, you cannot enter the space because you lack a mustache. What does he mean? We've booked a room for you at that hotel. She cannot access the hotel without entering the headquarters? Is that what he's trying to say?
By the way, have you tried the treasure of Austria?
Thank you. We already had it while you were enjoying your lunch. Now, please, give us the list.
Why does she always do that with her wrist? Is that trying to imply she's writing a lot and her wrist is in pain often? Hoffman's tone marks the request as non-negotiable.
And I'm sure you've received a telegram from the headquarters. You are to investigate the people around Theophil von Dittersdorf.
Okay, all right. It's a pity, lady from the headquarters. Here you are. And that's all of it. All of it.
You had it on you the whole time?
Oh, and this. 2 tickets to the Vienna Royal Orchestra. Please give them to Mr. Richard, and when you see him, send my sincerest regards.
Hoffman stands still, maintaining a distant politeness.
I will.
Who's Mr. Rickard?
The contact between the Foundation and the Vienna branch in 1914. A phantom of history. At that time, people still believed the golden age that had begun with the last generation would continue as it should, and that their positions in government would be as unshakable as the long-standing empire.
Hoffman nods, watching an old Carl taps his cane and strokes his head before disappearing to the corridor opened by the golem.
Oh, shoot. It won't let me in.
Oh, the moustache doesn't work anymore?
You're not joking, are you, Mr. Carl?
I am not. Darn! What is going on? Is this thing broken?
Your mustache is not good enough for the golem.
Oh, no, I'm stuck. Oh, my belly. Oh, I had the suit custom made in Paris.
The ancient knight awakens in a slow stir, shaking off a heavy layer of dust as thick as a Viennese title.
What on earth is going on? Why is the defense system activated?
A comical voice emanates from within the statue, lifting and quick like a rubber ball bouncing around inside a hollow frame.
Marcus, can you read its internal rituals?
Considering its sluggishness, yes, I think so.
Good.
Do we have to save him?
It's a good chance for you to get some experience. Just stay safe.
One minute again. Gotta save that mustached bull of racism. Oh, it's getting harder.
Oh, no! Miss Hoffman, these columns represent the spirit of the Vienna branch. You shouldn't be so violent!
And you should be dead if she hadn't saved your ass.
Adapt, improve, and advance. Arcanum should be kept up with the times, not lock itself away in a museum and wallow in the good old days. There was something visibly wrong with this thing, and we were rightfully doing our job. If you have any concerns about this, I'll include them in the report. And I should remind you that you spent too much time on your free will. We're running out of time.
You tell him, Queen.
Nein! Procedures are not the problem, darn it. You're not German, are you?
I think she is. The division head mutters softly before proceeding inside last.
So, what's wrong with the golem?
As Mr. Carl said, its structure is simple and yet incredible. The malfunction comes from one of the components. There's an extra stroke on the enchantment. These strokes look new. I guess the staff made a mistake when they did the maintenance or repair.
Let's hope so. Now take a look at this before Mr. Carl comes out.
What is this? Is this a clock? What am I seeing? My brain cannot brain. Oh, it's a painting, I'm guessing.
Several days ago, a member of the field agent squad found a painting that was reported in this magazine, The Pan.
Oh, is it Isolde's brother's painting or something?
It belonged to Theophil von Dittersdorf,
Yes.
a deceased artist from Vienna who committed suicide.
Allegedly.
Its name is The Salvation, and it was found along with a poem. The poem mentions the doomsday, the reversal of time, and the rain.
Salvation and rain. It sounds so...
Yes. And given the sightings of Manus leaders in Vienna, we believe Theophil came into contact with Manus leaders before he died, and probably learned the truth of the storm and the method of salvation. This was how Manus Vindicte recruited arcanists in 1929.
If he knew the method of salvation, why did he still kill himself?
Perhaps it was too much to bear what they had to do to reach that salvation. Marcus takes the magazine with ready curiosity, looking at the small clipped section.
Auf der Suche nach Silenus im Walde fragte ich ihn.
Seeking Silenus in the woods, I asked him.
Was ist das Beste und Wunderbarste für den Mensch?
What is the best and most wonderful thing for man?
Die Leere, wo der Mensch
The
nie
emptiness where
geboren
man was
wird,
born, he said.
sagte er.
You know what? I won't be reading these if they speak, if they read them in Austrian or German. I can tell the difference, unfortunately. I will let them speak and you read the translation underneath.
Ich betrachtete ihn, den Ring des Lebens, den Ring aller Leben. Deine Hände formen den Ring, und das Urteil wird ausgesprochen. Am jüngsten Tag, in der Dämmerung, wenn die Geschichte verblasst. O Welt! Sein Kopf beißt sich in seine Füße. Seine Knie berühren seine Nase. O Mensch! Sie bewohnen die Erde und warten darauf, dass der Himmel fällt. Gestern wird zu morgen. Morgen verwandelt sich wieder in gestern. Wer wird im Regen verschwinden? Wem wird das ewige Glück gewährt? Die Gnade von oben. Und diese Lehre, das Aufhören der Existenz.
Oh, that was so moving, Miss Sieglund. Poor Sigmund, my best friend, has returned to the void. Thank you all for coming today to shed tears for our departed hero.
Also, today's exhibition is about Isolde's brother.
He was a righteous and noble man who cared for his people. He was still trying to save the Arcanists on the Golden Isle before he died. He left us so many beautiful poems and paintings. Shame that the fire burnt everything to ashes. The only thing that survived was the salvation.
And probably the answer to our problem with the storm.
We were in a golden age of progressive ideas. We believed the Enlightenment would make ignorance history and lead us to paradise where everyone would be saved. The barrier between Arcanists and humans would be removed. In Vienna, that tolerant city, we would stand together hand in hand, back to back, reliving the intimacy we once shared when we first came into this world. Oh, world. Its head bites its feet. But the reality is, the survival space of Arcanists is shrinking. We tried to speak up in our own language, but that only makes us strangers in our own land. That's why we have decided to exhibit Sigmund's last work. Not only in memory of the deceased, but in memory of his noble spirit, his sincere concern for his people, and his scrutiny of this tragic world.
The people gather to nod their heads. Some of the women begin to weep softly.
There is no need to be sad, my friends. He has left us with the Rheingold. We will found a committee with the funds raised by the exhibition to improve the conditions of unregistered arcanists.
The youngest and the most outstanding opera singer in Vienna, Theophel's sister, Isolde von Dietersdorf, will present the details.
Amidst applause, Heinrich bows, handing off the stage to its true protagonist. She takes a graceful step forward.
Now I see why we were ordered to investigate Theophel's connections. There may be spies from Manus Vindictae among them.
Her mentor nods in approval, handing over a stack of documents.
I know the Vienna branch has a lot of bureaucratic problems, but we need their help to carry out the mission in this era. The search warrant, the letter of introduction, the evidence collection permit. They've provided us with all the official documents we need in this era, as well as a list of all the arcanists in Vienna in 1914. But we're not going to cooperate with them any further, because of the requirements to confidentiality. We'll only need manpower from them in the following operations.
Marcus replies by opening the thick register of Arcanus, desperate to prove she hasn't gotten distracted this time.
In case you spend a whole day on the A section, Marcus, we're looking for Theophil. Starts with a T.
How did you know I was starting from line A?
The apprentice droops her shoulders, sinking back into the book. With the help of her arcane skill, she easily finds information that Hoffman seeks.
It says Theophil belonged to a group of artists called the Circle. They often gathered in the secession building. Madam Hoffman, I think we can make contact with them one day.
Ah. What?
What's happening?
I sense strong arcane fluctuations over there.
Her eyes center on the door of the secession
I
building.
think it's a ghost?
They could call him back? So wait, is Isolde not really mentally ill? Perhaps her arcane skill can bring her brother back from the dead, and she gets possessed by him. That's what probably they thought was her hysteria, or if it is that case, multiple personality disorder.
Part 5, a bad seance. They lift chairs, smash furniture, and jump out of walls, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
Isolde? Isolde!
She fainted again.
My god, she passed out again!
People gather around in loose circle, wringing their heads but offering little help, knowing there is little they can do besides making a spectacle of their compassion.
She must have smelling salts on her. Find them.
What is going on?
Oh, she was there? Okay.
Make way! Make way! Let me see.
Kakania! People, make way for the doctor!
Oh, she is a doctor, just not a psychologist.
Isolde, can you hear me? Oh no, it's a seizure. She's going to bite herself.
Oh.
Get a stick! Heinrich, do you have any props she can bite? Doctor! Help! Please help me! They are here! The paintings, they are here! She can't wait. Isolde, open your mouth.
Doctor, your hand is bleeding from the bite.
It's okay. What happened just now? She was fine when I left 10 minutes ago.
I don't know. We finished reciting Sigmund's poem and...
Sigmund? Oh, you mean Theophil? I see what's going on here. You've aroused her trauma.
It's interesting to me how this happened to her after her brother's poem. She mentions here, Kakania says it's because you triggered her, you brought her trauma back. But is it that way, or is the poem supposed to be a summoning? Because it's been a few days, so I don't remember what I said in my previous part, but I have this idea as well that perhaps she's not mentally ill but possessed by her brother, I think. So what if his poem is quote-unquote a summoning that awakes her brother's spirit in her, or brings him back if it, like I said, if it's a summoning, and creates that kind of thing that's taken over her body slowly. Maybe it is indeed a mental thing, of course. I'm just saying that what if it's a supernatural thing instead? Because, listen, she wanted to read the poem, right? She did it willingly. Nobody was forcing her to do it, so wouldn't she know if the poem was actually triggering to her and she should have stayed away from it? I'm saying this because as his sister, I imagine there have been many times she has read that poem back, so, you know, searching for clues to know what drove him to the end in case it was indeed suicide, or if somebody else had killed him. Anyway, let's see.
You shouldn't have invited her to her brother's exhibition, Hanyek. And you even read his death notice in public. Ah, you should have known it would upset her. He was the only family she had left.
I did not. I thought she had completely recovered.
Again, my question, if she knew this was gonna trigger her, why did she go ahead and do it?
What?
She should have recovered from the electroshock therapy.
What kind of nonsense is that? Dr. Schwartz is a liar without a conscience. He takes pleasure in the pain of his patients. I know how he managed to fool the medical association. Those rich morons don't care about the patients at all. Soon as you mention fancy words like advanced or science, they'll throw their wallets at you as if they'll be left behind by the times. They're all blinded by the shining glamour of progressivism. And they even scoff at psychoanalysis, the real meaningful discovery of the era.
A person's scream silences her arguments. The screaming woman, drenched in sweat, sees a framed painting turned to the bone saw aimed at cutting open her skull, where most certainly the syrup in her brain would diffuse like milk poured into a cup of tea. How adorable, and almost delightful thought. But what if it's like the oil paint on the canvas, or like a teacup, like a neat triangle, like a square, like a square, like a square, like a circle? The electric lights go out and a series of candles ignite simultaneously.
Schau dir den Ring an, Theophil. Ist so wunderschön.
In the candlelight, Isolde's face is deathly pale.
Nein, das war meine Schuld. Ja, ich werde es besser machen. Ich kann es schaffen. Ich kann immer noch singen.
Isolde?
The woman pulls Kakania down by her collar.
Bitte, schau mich an, Doktor. Hilf mir. Bitte, hilf mir.
I will, Isolde. Now let go of me first.
Oh no. It's a seance. But Miss Tosk only does it before performance.
Of course it turned out this way. She's lost control. She summoned evil spirits this time, not the good ones.
Guys, I'm telling you, she's not mentally ill. And what's crazy is that I think that everybody knows. This is the only part I'd probably take this as mental illness if any spirit that comes back with the poem or anything else that has to do with her brother, she sees as her brother but isn't really her brother. Perhaps they take the form of Theophil, but it's not Theophil, you know, but there is high chance that it's Theophil as well. But it baffles me that they know, because she just said she summoned evil spirits. So she knows, and apparently more people know, that perhaps she's capable of doing that, summoning spirits.
Nein! Geh weg!
Kakania breaks free from her grip and follows Isolde's distant gaze.
She's afraid of the paintings. Oh, poor girl. It's her brother's paintings.
Kakania! Watch out!
Heinrich, give me a hand. Draw the ghost away by whatever means.
I am very confused. However, I'm interested to know what's the deal with the paintings, if her brother had some sort of arcane skill that could trap souls inside paintings, or if they got hunted after he died. I'm guessing he had some power that could contact other spirits, but why use it that way, you know? I have many questions. Anyway, I'll be right back. Never mind, I bet you've already seen this, but I thought I should reopen because apparently there's gonna be dialogue inside this. Also, I'd like to say I really like these ghosts. The design, I love it, it's so cute. It's like little faces from neck down and the faces holes. And they have this lovely pastel colory thing. I don't know, I like it, I didn't expect this kind of design. Reverse is really beautiful designs when it comes to ghosts, for my taste, that is. These souls are no longer bound to the bodies, they're a nuisance to begin with.
Hey, over there! Leave the doctor alone!
I bought this bullet with my savings. Who took it out of my body? It was you. You!
What in the world?
Enough of your ugly fuss. What family are you from, miss? How much property do you own?
Go away. It's not working. You'll have to try harder, Mr. Heinrich. Leave her be, gentlemen.
There was another message before this one asking who are you anyway to put your filthy hands on me or whatnot. I didn't think it was of much importance, that's why I didn't record it. But this one is kind of interesting. She took half my body. No, father was called May.
Heinrich, I'll take care of Isolde. Take this.
Oh, catching a ghost with my hands. Yeah, it's so soft and sticky.
What are they made of, cotton candy?
Give it back, you thief!
7-7 set.
They were quite tough though, I gotta say. I had a hard time beating them.
Sie sind jetzt sicher, Isolde. Spüren Sie nun den Druck meiner Hände.
The wandering spirits busy themselves in entangling the unfortunate gentleman. Kakania, catching her breath, gently clasps her hands over Isolde's ears.
Der Druck wird Sie an einige Dinge erinnern. Sie werden langsam und stetig in Ihren Kopf gelangen und Ihnen nicht schaden. Gut, das ist es. Wenn ich den Druck loslasse, öffnen Sie langsam Ihre Augen. Diese Dinge werden sanft zu Boden fallen, wie Federn. Jetzt fangen Sie sie vorsichtig auf. Jetzt sagen Sie mir, was haben Sie gesehen? Was ist passiert?
The woman clenches her teeth, struggling to push out her greeted words.
Dr. Schwartz told me that humans are rational and we should be able to control ourselves completely. But I failed. The Dittersdorfs can't afford another lunatic like me.
Honey, you're not crazy, you're probably just a witch.
I will be abandoned by the audience. By everyone.
No, you are not them, Isolde. As long as you receive proper treatment in the hospital.
Please don't, please. I'm cured. The shock therapy worked well, very well.
Isolde.
No, I mustn't act like Mother or Teofil. The Dittersdorfs can't bear. The opera can't bear.
Still murmuring, her breathing gradually vents out. Oh, what if she doesn't necessarily summon Theophil, but her arcane skill is actually making everything in her mind come to life? So if she's indeed mentally ill and she sees these things, these images, these ghosts, then her arcane skill gives her the power to get them out of her mind, and therefore they become a threat to everybody else. Because it doesn't make sense to me that after everything that happened, everybody still acts like she can take therapy and treat this. If her power was just summoning things from the past, or any ghost that is trapped in Theophil's paintings, then it wouldn't make sense for them to keep treating her like she's mentally ill. They should tell her, oh, you actually have a power to do things and bring ghosts to life or whatnot. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but these are two completely different things for me. Like, if I was in the room, I'd think that either the poem is actually some sort of summoning that only comes to life when somebody of Theophil's blood reads it out loud and ghosts come in, or the paintings come alive anyway, or that Isolde is some sort of witch that can summon spirits, not that she's mentally ill or that she imagines things. But if they still treat her like that, I'm guessing that's her arcane skill. She can turn everything happening in her head to life. But then if it wasn't these images, if her arcane skill is the power of imagination turned to reality, she might be able to produce things that are helpful to solve problems, I'm guessing. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, the way they treat her, it looks like she indeed has a problem, and her arcane skill is amplifying that problem, if it makes sense.
Heinrich, please take Miss Dittersdorf to get some rest.
I will.
The gentleman barks a command to the guests gathered around and moves to help the girl into the backstage. Kakania rises, rushing to the door of the secession building like a gust of wind.
What about you, Doctor? Where are you going?
I'm going to get that Aristobats.
Her green figure swiftly disappears beneath the doorway. But before the door can close, a hand halts its motion.
Kakania? Huh? You are from the Foundation, and Angelotti, and the unknown lady?
The plot thickens and I am confused. But I shall wait, because hopefully we'll get more answers later on. Part 6. Yes, Prime Minister. Oh, if only you could say the right name, everything would be so much easier. Outside the Temple of Odd, the mentor imparts a final set of admonitions to her apprentice.
Remember, Marcus, the working staff of the Foundation branch will take care of the dispute in their fashion. We just need to follow him in. The members of the Circle are top priority. But before any of them can be convicted, as said before, all we have to do is silently observe and respect their lives.
Understood. I almost bumped into her. That lady in green seemed to be in a bad mood. Shall I ask the gentleman from the branch who she is? Oh, he seems busy at the moment. But that gentleman is a person of this era. If I interrupt him, am I also interrupting his original course of action?
Marcus sinks back into her mar of indecision.
Oh!
Hoffman gently pats Marcus's shoulder, drawing back her focus. Fortunately, the Vienna branch's officer does not notice this minor episode. His attention is captured by the arrival of an uninvited acquaintance.
My, Mr. Rigalato. Your hair has grown so fast. To what do we owe this pleasure? Are you also here for the exquisite art?
Can you just be normal for once, Heinrich? And stop calling me by those opera names. Someone reported an arcane disturbance here. I see candles. Are you holding a seance?
Like I said, that was her arcane skill. I haven't seen her gameplay, by the way, so I bet some of you already know the answer to this, because either you've played this part or you've played with Isolde. But yeah, I don't, so I'm in the dark.
I must remind you that arcane rituals are not allowed unless you have a separate permit.
Excuse me? That's not fair. The first permit already costed us a...
Please calm yourself, sir. Be mindful of what you implied. The Viennese government has ensured you the greatest possible freedom through working with us.
Oh wait, so it was a seance? I thought this happened all by accident. I'm sorry, this was intended? I don't understand though. Did Isolde know any of this? It doesn't make sense. Okay, I'm getting confused again. Moving on.
Who do you think cleaned up after you people? After those fires, passionate murders, and deadly stampedes? We can't bear the consequences of your moments of epiphany forever. Not to mention the seance is one of the most dangerous acts. We've had 2 colleagues injured, still being treated for mental illness in the Vienna General Hospital. You will find no other place as tolerant and open-minded as this one. In return, you should do your part and cooperate with the government.
Seance? What seance? Nothing of the sort, Mr. Rigoletto. This is just a rehearsal of the play. The candles, the settings, and of course, these paintings once bathed in fire. Yes, this is an art exhibit, a youth rally, or, as we prefer to call it, a visualization of the future.
I demand a rational conversation. Now, I must question the sanity of this gathering. Is there no one here who is of sound mind? If not, I'll have to...
I'm terribly sorry. Mr. Strauss, sorry to keep you waiting.
Miss Netterstorff, bless you, madam. I did not expect to see you here.
Oh, sorry that we troubled you. I'm here for my late brother's exhibition, and for rehearsal for the coming performance. We got a little carried away. Made you come all the way here to check on us?
Please, madam, as your friend, I do not wish to cause you discomfort. In fact, Mr. Carl and I were talking about you over brunch earlier. He was truly impressed by your talent at the opera.
Were you impressed only by her talent or by her beauty as well? Because you seem to be stuttering way too much.
Mr. Carl is too kind. Since my mother passed away, he has been such a caring friend to the family.
Well then, this was all just a misunderstanding. But, madam, please understand that I still have procedures to go through. Would you mind if I investigated a little?
The man leans in, his voice a hushed whisper.
By investigate, you know, just a quick look around the building.
We are grateful to have a responsible employee like you, Mr. Strauss. Please, help yourself.
At the other end of the hall, investigators from headquarters uphold the duties with familiar diligence and effort. Hoffman imperceptibly shakes her coat as fine threads like spider silk disperse into the air attached to tiny floating particles.
Wow! The spider tail and the detection spores. These are Laplace's auxiliary devices for perceiving arcane power. I've never seen one before. Only investigators of level 4 or higher are allowed to use them.
Noticing the excited glances towards her, Hoffman leans into a whisper to the young investigator.
Marcus, come. Give me a hand.
On it. These burnt pictures. They're the work of Theophil von Ditterstoff. They're the perfect subjects for reading.
The lamp is gripped a little tighter. She lifts her head as she begins reading. The world around her becomes a matter of effortless ease to view.
Only a third of the picture can be read, but I can see it clearly.
Why only 1/3?
An ingenious composition that balances the different elements of the picture. Sadly, the creator focused too much on the form and overlooked the content. The frame is made of... not important. Next page. This one is luckier. Half of it survived the fire, so we can see the lower half of the lady in the picture. But, Theophil certainly had a way with women. She was not his first prey.
Excuse me, prey? Prey. Okay, maybe Theophil wasn't as misunderstood as I thought he would be.
And this one, only a frame remains. The rest of his works are too damaged, but I do remember an intact one somewhere.
Yeah, the circle.
But aside from this, I don't see anything else. Next page.
She turns, colliding with a pair of light-colored eyes. Despite the distance, it feels as though Isolde is gazing back at her.
People can be read too. That person, Miss Isolde.
A deep breath, the page unfolds before her eyes once again. Ooh.
Unlike other ladies pursuing the latest fashions in Paris, she still wears the corset, with only some Art Nouveau jewelry by her waist. She's as delicate as a butterfly. She is a renowned medium. The Ditterstuff family is well known for their mediumship. Nowadays, they use that power mostly for art. That is, they summon a spirit to possess their body so they can sing, write, and paint like no other.
Oh, this changes shit. Wait, I won't tell you what I'm thinking because it's gonna take hours, but it is interesting that that's actually something she knows she's capable of. It does make sense now that she was at the exhibition, that even though she knew that the poem would probably trigger her, she did read it anyway. Yeah, many things make sense now. Other question still remains. I still don't get how exactly her power manifests, and which part of it is her mental illness doing and which is willing.
They also suffered for this power. Racked by neurosis and hysteria, the family has had very few members despite its long history. Wait a minute. The picture behind her is still intact, and it is enormous. Is that the Salvation? Strange. This painting is...
You have a keen eye for art, miss.
Oh!
A voice leaps up behind her, bursting from behind the warm smile of the freckle-faced man.
This painting is the work of my dearest friend, Sigmund. The Salvation. The only piece he left behind that survived the consuming flames.
Oh wait, I finally got it. Is Sigmund his pen name? His artist name? His alias, if you like? That would make sense, because all kinds of artists, especially in the past, like to use a fake name, an artist's name, more so than nowadays.
These enchanting, magical circles, one next to another. Oh, I was only reciting Miss Kakania. We're both passionate about the subject. How regrettable. She would have given you a much better explanation if she were here. Her words can easily stir one's soul.
Did you say Kakania? You have a friend called Kakania?
Oh yes. Every artist has their own nickname. I also have the honor of knowing the Orange Knight, Victor of the Rhyme, Offerstrudel.
Also, Kakania is also an artist, besides a doctor.
Are you a friend of Kakania? Too bad she just left. She should be meeting with Dr. Schwartz by now.
Marcus looks up. Her mentor casts her eyes to the same spot and shakes her head gently.
No, the name sounded a little strange to me, that's all. But I appreciate the explanation, sir.
In the air, the dispersed spores stir imperceptibly. Bang, bang, crash. The dust from the explosive pervades the air, sacking deep into nostrils and open mouths.
What happened?
Are these ghosts? Didn't you say there wasn't a seance? This is Dittersdorf. I would very much like an explanation.
Oh, they're still chasing me!
The detection spores have taken effect and enveloped the ghosts. Marcus, can you still read?
I think so.
Good. I'll draw its attention. You take care of the arcanum part.
Oh goodness. And back to fighting ghosts I go. Pray for me. 1 minute, or perhaps more in my case, because these are quite tough enemies for me. I'll be right back. I made it.
Miss Dietersdorf, you told me this was just an opera rehearsal. Now look at this mess. And more importantly, my 2 assistants are still here. I must ask you for a good reason to report to my superior.
Aww. The pale girl remains silent, bowing her head.
Oh, Isolde, my dear lovely gal.
An all too familiar mustachioned face arrives without invitation. Carl steps at a sturdy trouncing waddle as she approaches and takes Isolde's hand.
Mr. Karl.
Director?
Look at you, so pale. The play is sapping your strength. Come, child, come to me. I told Schwartz to take good care of you. Well, I guess he can't be in 2 places at once. The frequent presentations must have been too much for a doctor such as he. I've learned that you've recovered from hysteria, which is good, but promise me that you'll look after yourself, will you? Your late mother suffered a tragic end, and it would be unbearable for the Empire to lose another star.
You flatter me.
I wouldn't really call her just said flattering, but maybe she's playing her role, you know.
Joseph?
Yes, Director.
Don't be so hard on them. Those wonderful stage effects. Heinrich is an expert at this, yes? What better demonstrates our free wills than respecting the artists and their work? None of us would mind an episode of excitement every once in a while.
Carl meets Hoffman's eyes in another overly affable attempt at good nature.
Even the gentlemen from the headquarters would agree with me, don't you think?
Yes, you're right.
We are short on manpower, and the assistants should focus on more important matters.
We should leave.
So I went to have lunch for a bit and it just hit me that I've been mentioned in the beginning of this story that back then people would get you into an asylum for the smallest of things. Even people who weren't mentally ill were sent to such places because they did something that wasn't normal for the society at the time, or the things people didn't understand back then. And they couldn't explain it any how else besides that being mental illness, okay? So yeah, I've been trying to understand whether Isolde is actually mentally ill and her arcane skill just amplifies her issue, or if that is not a problem at all, it's just her power doing it. Her arcane skill is the one doing everything that causes her all this suffering. But based on what I just told you, there's high chance that the reason she herself thinks she's mentally ill is probably because the arcane skill she bears is something privy only to her own family. If she's seen no other arcanist with this power and what it does to them, it would make sense that she would consider something is wrong with her, right? I mean, everybody in her life said that there was something wrong with her entire family, so wouldn't that drive even you watching right now thinking that perhaps people are right? That maybe something is wrong with your family and you have it too? Let's go to part 7, A Fair Duel. A showdown for the future of a shining star. I'm so scared about the next battle after this because it's been 3 parts with Inside 2 and the level this high. I'm hoping they keep it there because if they ask for more, I will have to keep leveling up my characters.
Good day. I would like to check the date of a novel. Yes, it is Der Mann ohne Eigenschaften by Robert Musil. Oh, I see.
What did they say?
Just as I remembered it. The novel was completed in 1930. The word kakania was also created by Robert Musil. Kakania should not be a nickname for anyone in 1914.
It doesn't belong to this era. She could be Wismanus Vindictae. Or at least associated with their people.
What's more, when we were at the Secession building, I read that painting, The Salvation. It seemed out of place compared to the other paintings. Théophile may have applied a new technique on the Salvation, a more daring kind, audacious even. But these are only subtleties, I can't be too certain. I was interrupted by that strangely speaking gentleman, so I didn't get everything. Another thing, its content reminds me of the symbol of the circle.
Marcus rummages through the bookcase, finding the pamphlet tucked within the thick register.
This twisting circle resembles the circles in the Salvation. Heinrich called them magical circles, one next to another. They must be more than just circles, I think. Was he demonstrating the madness of passion? But the lines are clean. Perhaps the purity of eternity? No, the circles are too twisted for that. Or was he just representing a primitive state of being?
Primitive state of being, like a soul?
I don't understand any of it. So this must be art.
Ma'am, you're funny sometimes.
Okay.
I wasn't joking.
Yeah, but it was funny nonetheless.
Huh?
Based on what we know, we can't be sure if this group of young arcanists and the Manus are connected. But we all know that the latter is eager to win over the cynical revolutionary youth. You did well, Marcus. The important figures of the circle, Isolde, Heinrich, and even the late Théophile. We had made contact with them all. Only this Kakania. What does the intel say about her?
Kakania, also known as Miss Clara, inherited her arcane skills from her family. She's able to reflect people's thoughts in a mirror. She was once a medical student, but dropped out halfway through.
Oh. Well then, we don't know if she's a psychologist or not. Maybe the medical studies she did were on psychology and she just dropped out halfway through because everybody was being pretentious and not really caring about their patients. Because she's been very adamant about this and her distaste towards psychologists, psychiatrists in her era. Also, this is a badass power to have for someone dealing with people's psychology, to be able to see their thoughts in the mirror, because if somebody has confused thoughts and that's why they went to the psychologist or psychiatrist and they were trying to make sense of their way of thinking or whatnot, she'd be able to just throw them in the mirror and make their life easier, you know?
These days, she shows up at various social events as a psychiatrist, which the Foundation tries to prohibit because she doesn't have a license. And she is also an activist.
An activist?
According to Mr. Heinrich, she is meeting with a doctor named Schwartz today.
Schwartz. The family Dr. Carr mentioned. Let's try our luck there.
Now then, Miss Clara, Mr. Schwartz, only 3 weapons are allowed in the duel. The army knife, the sword, and the pistol.
Wait. Is that allowed in this time and era? You're, instead of, attacking somebody with your fists, you challenge them to a duel?
I will leave the choice to Dr. Schwartz, for he has more experience in these duels than I do. It's an honor to fight you, and I look forward to ending your winning streak.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding where this is going.
Not so much an honorable scene for me.
Excuse me, please.
Protect her! Hoffman extends her hand, mercilessly cleaving a path through the crowd.
Pardon me, what is happening?
A duel, ma'am. Just as Dr. Schwartz was demonstrating his therapy, Miss Clara barged right in. They were arguing, and this is how they decided to end it. To ensure fairness of the duel, the combat must happen within 48 hours of the challenge, but I've never seen one take place on the spot.
Well, I hope they know what they're doing. I don't want to get caught as collateral damage.
That green dress. So she is Kakania. What do we do? If she gets injured, our mission will...
Oh, it is a duel. But I suppose it's not to the death. It's
one shot. But if they're to use a pistol, if one of them chooses to shoot in the heart, it won't be just to wound the opposing duelist, it's to kill them. I don't know, it seems quite brutal for this era.
Don't worry about people in that time. It is their life to live. Never intervene if you don't know the exact consequences of your actions. The course of history is more important than our investigation. This is Investigator Greta Hoffmann. What? Hold on. I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
You can't leave her alone.
The field agent squad needs to speak to me. This won't take long. I will leave this to you. Remember what I said, Marcus.
Yes, madam.
Hoffman turns towards the baroque wooden door made of mahogany before her figure disappears amidst the crowd. Dude, if I was to go anywhere with Marcus as her mentor or superior, I would definitely not leave her alone in this situation. I don't know, I feel she's very vulnerable. I can't. Perhaps Hoffman puts a lot of trust in her because she knows she can do it, obviously. And that's a good thing, to have faith in your underlings, in the people you have under your wing. But personally, I just wouldn't have the heart to leave her alone in the situation that seems to be getting out of control. Only her still unfledged assistant remains.
Leaving this to me. To me. To me.
Marcus recites it to herself as a mantra, attempting to slow her racing heart. See, I told you!
Breathe, Marcus. There's nothing to be nervous about. You can't be an assistant forever. There will come a day when you're all on your own.
This is not the spot to test it, though.
Just like at the secession building, I only have to watch her. If I end up talking to Miss Kakania, I'll just pretend to be an ordinary employee of the Foundation. Easy. You used to do well on your own, when you were reading in the lighthouse and the forest. Dr. Shorts. 3 times he has been involved in duels, and 3 times he has won. Impressive. This time he's still going for the pistol.
He always goes for the pistol, to be done with anyone who dares duel him. He's an asshole.
But Miss Kakania does not have an assistant, and she has only one witness in this duel. This is not right. Why did she agree to this?
I'm guessing if she can reflect people's emotions in reflections, that she can see... thoughts. That she can see the thoughts of other people or intention before they reach the mirror. Or she's very confident of herself. That could be a thing.
She's being reckless. Even an arcanist should have at least one assistant in a duel. Dr. Schwartz's assistant brought them a pair of pistols. FN Model 1910. Is that a right weapon for a duel?
I don't think there should be weapons or a duel in the first place. Beat his ass and leave.
It's too crowded here. I can't see. No, the pistol given to Miss Kakania. Something's wrong with it.
Blanks?
The bullets. Her life is in danger if the duel begins.
I remain utterly confused, so I'll just go with the flow.
But Madam Hoffman warned me about the consequences of intervention. What if I just go and talk to her as an employee of the Foundation branch, like I did at the secession building? So far, Heinrich has been difficult to communicate with, while Mr. Carl doesn't want us to get in touch with Miss Isolde. Miss Kakania is the only person who is both a friend of Theophil and associated with the Circle. But I have to be careful with this name. If she is indeed one of the Manus Vindictae, I will be jeopardizing this mission by going near her. But wait! She doesn't know that I'm from the headquarters, so she probably will talk to me. But how do I know she doesn't know my identity? What if Mr. Call is not to be trusted? And what if Mr. Call and she are in this together? Their names both start with a K.
I could go with her thought in the beginning, like they could be in this together, even though I think it's highly unlikely this is a thing. But the reason of them being working together being because their names start with K. You're so precious.
What am I thinking?
Marcus patting her cheeks with an unaware gusto, drawing side glances from the others present.
Stop. I'm not on the Flannan Isles anymore. I can't waste my day on endless thoughts. Remember what Madame Hoffman said. Think of the immediate mission. I have to prevent Kakania from getting killed in the duel. She has the clues about Theophil that I need. Never intervene if you don't know the exact consequences of your actions.
A long, deep breath.
I have assessed the risks, madam. I will not stand by and watch this happen, even if I don't know the consequences.
I need to make this clear to you. Not only have you hindered Miss Dietersdorf from getting the treatment she needs, but you have repeatedly defamed me.
Oh, I can only admit that you're right if you have to call a different academic perspective slander.
A different academic perspective? Do you really think Freud and his petty tricks are academic? One could hardly find a worse insult to science than this.
Is that so? Do you really mean that? Rumor has it that you taught the military the method of hypnosis for a price. Do you wish to clear things up here?
Oh, I look, you want her to do it.
Your silence is a resounding yes. Tell me, why did you please the ministers with these petty tricks, but not with your most advanced electrotherapy you've been touting? Do you harbor negative feelings towards Mr. Freud because of his open rejection of hypnosis?
What does any of this have to do with you?
Oh, many things, Mr. Schwartz. Your behavior has greatly undermined the interests of arcanists, who are your own people.
The dude is an arcanist? Okay.
Not to mention that hypnosis is a violation of a patient's free will, and I have reason to believe that this duel is entirely personal. I must make it clear that your wife's appointment with me has nothing to do with the rumors of your lackluster performance in the bedroom.
Oh, in front of everyone.
I'm not the real enemy, Mr. Schwartz. The gossip mongers and tabloid writers are.
You...
Are both duelists ready?
Perfectly ready.
I'm ready to...
No! She's not!
Huh?
Miss Kakania needs another minute.
The collective gaze causes her voice to tremble slightly.
The crowd. Shoot me. I want to go home. Why did you apply for this mission, Marcus?
Despite her mental turmoil, she extends her hand, attempting to ascend with some dignity intact, or at least without resorting to crawling.
I am Miss Kakania's assistant. I am here to...
Sorry to interrupt, miss, but the last time I checked, I couldn't possibly afford a St. Pavlov Foundation member to be my aide.
See, she knows!
Darn it, I forgot about my badge.
I was about to ask that next if she was wearing the foundation thing. That Hoffman's is more visible, is on her neck. But I don't see hers, from this angle at least. Kakania retracts a pistol twirling around her finger.
So, the Foundation is trying to intervene. Don't worry, Miss Foundation staff. Look around. We're doing it the human way. No arcane skills involved.
Yeah, just stupidity.
The head of the Foundation branch should not be your role model. Mind you, you're giving up a part of your integrity for taking his clones. A terrible deal indeed. Besides, they're using human guns. They don't need the Foundation's license to use these. I'm not doing anything against the Foundation's rules, am I?
The Browning pistol spins once more in a perfect circle.
If it's urgent, can we wait until after the duel? Please stand back. The bullets can't tell the difference between friend and enemy.
Marcus is again interrupted by the rapid-fire speech of the other party.
Please don't use that gun. The bullets in it are dangerous.
What's the point?
What?
Oh, unless it's not just bullets. They have something inside.
The bullets are wrong. The gun will burst if you pull the trigger. Sir, I demand that the gun be checked.
Oh, so even if he misses, if she tries to shoot, the gun is going to explode back at her like right after the bullet gets out? Kakania grips the half-turned gun tightly before deftly removing the magazine.
The size of these bullets.
A cold bead of sweat drips down her spine.
I need an explanation, Mr. Spots. I thought you had at least the integrity of a gentleman. The bullets in my gun are wrong.
If I pull the trigger, as Miss Foundation here said, the barrel will burst.
Bursted barrel? I remember now. That Anton boy lost the duel to Schwartz for the same reason. Did Schwartz do something to his gun too? And was the guard in on it too?
Huh? This is defamation. I have never...
Please! Who is dueling here?
The guards are here.
Hey, don't step on my dress! Not good. Madame Hoffman has not come back yet. Madame Hoffman!
The young assistant is engulfed within the chaotic crowd.
Hey, miss! The helpful Miss Foundation employee! Miss Kakania?
The green-clad pistolier extends her hand.
Don't stand there! Come here!
Kakania grabs the shy assistant's hand, pulling her into a fierce embrace without a second word. Kakania leaps, alighting herself onto the window frame with the lightness of a bird.
Okay, this is a quiet float. We're going to jump, Miss Foundation. 3, 2, 1, here we go!
I like Kakania.